Are you having some struggles in your homeschooling? Is it not as picture perfect as you thought it would be? Well, let's talk about it. Hey guys, it's Vani from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool, and today I just want to discuss some topics that a lot of moms have been dealing with in regards to struggles that we have in our homeschool. And recently I posted a question asking moms, what are your homeschool struggles? And today I want to tackle some of those things. Let's talk about patience. This is one thing that a lot of moms said they were having a hard time with, is having patience with their kids. Now, I used to be awful. I had absolutely no patience. Now, when my kids were really little, when I just had two, I have three now, I lacked a lot of patience. By the third child, I'm really good now. I think I got it down packed. I mean, I do lack patience. I'm only human. But what I find is if I'm feeling impatient with my kids during the homeschool day, it's because of two things. One, my child isn't doing what they are supposed to be doing. They're not fast listening. They're not basically doing their part. And that comes down to discipline. And those are behavioral issues. I had to find a way to dish out disciplinary action if needed, because I needed to let my children know, even though you're homeschooled, you are still doing school. I tell my kids all of the time, all of the kids across the United States of America are doing school, and if they are not, they are taken away from their parents. I always tell them that. I let them know, like, everybody has to do school. If you want to be successful in life and you want to be smart, you have to learn. We're constantly learning. So I try to instill that in them so they know that just because they're home doesn't mean that they don't have to learn. So if you're impatient because your child is having issues listening, or maybe, you need to find out, okay, what is the problem here? Now, a lot of the times I lose my patience with my kids because I expect them, especially the older ones, to just do the work. Do the work. You know what to do, just get it done. Then I realized, okay, he doesn't know how to write an essay. So I had to take the time and sit with him and teach him step by step. This is how you do it. This is how you do this. First you do this, then you do that, then you do this, and model it for him, And then I also realized that what was taking my patience was that I didn't feel like sitting there to do the work with my child when I felt they could do it themselves, because I had laundry to do, or I was in the middle of checking my Facebook page, or somebody had texted me a message, or I had a load of laundry I wanted to run and do really quickly. Mamas, when you are homeschooling, you have to set your designated time for homeschooling. Putting the phones away, out of sight. Leaving your chores to the end of the day, or if you have time, let's say it's reading time and your kids are they don't need you, they're sitting there, they're reading, or they're doing a math worksheet, and you have time to do a quick load of laundry, then you can run and do that. But your priority during your homeschool hours is homeschooling your children. When I realized that, I had an endless amount of patience, because this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help them with their struggles. I'm here to guide their behavioral issues. If I need to dish out timeouts during the homeschool days, I can be patient in doing that, because I know that my job as a homeschooling mother is not just to guide their education, but it's to guide their behavior and their character. And so during those homeschool hours especially, I needed to get rid of everything that was distracting me from focusing on my kids, and that gave me a ton more patience. So those were the two things. It was one, the kids' behavior issues, and two was me doing other things that I shouldn't have been doing during the homeschool day. Let's talk about consistency. Now, I talked about consistency in detail in this video here when I discussed what you should do if you felt like you needed to throw in the towel with homeschooling. In this case, let's just say you are having a hard time being consistent in your homeschool. My advice is, because I've struggled with consistency I am the most inconsistent person I know. I will tell you yes to something and then on Friday I just say, no, I can't do it. Like, people know me because I'm a very inconsistent person, and I hate that. I really do. But what I really tried to work on is having consistency in my homeschool. So I finally got it down packed to where we wake up around the same time every morning. My kids know that from a certain time to a certain time, that first hour of the morning, they need to wake up, brush their teeth. If they can fix their hair, get dressed, do their morning chores, and we just have a homeschool flow. We have a rhythm to our day, and they know, because we've been so consistent, that this is how we start our homeschool day. So it's really important for you to create a flow of your day. Schedules are not good because you're so tied down to them. Like if you say like from 6 to 7 we have to do this, and then your alarm doesn't go off, or somebody feels sick in the morning, or you have cramps and you can't start till 6:30 and you're the whole half an hour back off, it just throws everything off, and then you feel frustrated, you lose your patience, and then you got a whole bunch of issues. So instead of a specific schedule with times, you could do a block schedule, or you could just have a flow to the day. You wake up around this time every day, and this is what you do the first hour every day, and so on and so forth. Flexibility. A big benefit of homeschooling is having flexibility. Now, I know that sometimes as homeschooling moms, we love the idea of being flexible, but we know, like, we got to get this curriculum done by this day, right? So one of the mothers said, if I want to get through lesson 33 by the end of the month, I have a hard time being flexible, even though I know that it's one of the benefits to homeschooling. She's having a trouble with patience in meeting goals. So I would say this: don't set a specific goal that you want to be done like by a specific date, because you don't know if your kids are going to get sick, or if you're going to get sick, or you know, who the heck knows. Oh, there's so many random things that happen in life that throw off our schedule and throw off our lessons. So instead of saying, okay, by June 1st we will be done all of our language arts, just give yourself some grace. Let's say by the second week of June I want to be done lesson 33, and as you're calculating that, you know, give yourself a few days off. Let's say, for example, you want to finish lesson 33 by May 4th. I'm just throwing out dates. Now, when you're calculating how many lessons to do a day, take away 5 of those days, you know what I mean? So that you're giving yourself 5 days of playtime, and you might be done 5 days early, or if things happen, you'll be done just in time. So give yourself some flexibility in your planning, so that if things don't work out, you're still kind of hitting your goals because you gave yourself flexibility when you're planning. I hope that makes sense. Needing a break. It's a struggle sometimes, especially if you're a new homeschooler, to be together all of the time. And for some people it's easy, and for some people it's difficult. This was one of the challenges that one of the mothers posted in the comments. This mother thought that she might consider putting her kids in school for a couple of weeks to give her and them a break from all each other. If you need a break from your kids, you do not need to feel guilty about that, especially if you're a person who needs a lot of me time. I am a person who needs a lot of me time. By the end of the homeschool day, what I do every day is I give my kids 1 to 2 hours of screen time for the day at that time. And sometimes I will take a nap. Sometimes I'll just come to my room where it's nice and quiet. Sometimes I will read a book. Sometimes I'll go for a bike ride. At that time, I do something just for myself. And that is actually enough sometimes to rejuvenate myself to continue with the rest of the day. Another thing that I do is once every few months, or once or twice a year, I try to go away for the weekend with my best friend. That way the kids are home with their dad. I don't have to worry about sitters and all that. And I go away with my friend, and we just have a mom weekend. That is so good for your mental health. Also, if you have a husband who's supportive and who is able to help you, maybe his work schedule allows it, maybe you can set sometimes a couple nights of the week where he can put the kids to bed, or maybe he can put the kids to bed every night of the week, because even though he may be working outside of the home, you are working inside of the home. And I always say, you know, to my husband, I used to say a long time ago, why is it fair that, you know, the husband sometimes gets to work from 9 to 5, they come home and then they relax. We work from 9 to 5 and 8 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 to 3 in the morning when the kids have to wake up, and we never get a break. So sharing the load with your spouse, and maybe having him put through the whole nighttime routine, and you getting a bunch of hours in the evening without your kids, that will really help out a lot. It really helps me out at the times when I get my kids to bed early enough to have a nice long evening. I feel a lot better the next day. Summertime is coming, so you can also put your kids in summer camps during the summer, and that's a nice little break that you get there too, of having your kids just do their own thing. They're getting a break from you, and you're getting a break from them. So there's lots of different ideas that you can do if you feel like you guys are spending too much time together. Another thing is having play dates. When you have play dates, you have the moms come over. If you have some mom friends, I met all of my mom friends at homeschool co-ops, and so this is basically where all my friends have come from. They're all from homeschool co-op. So if you are lacking friends, I would suggest you go to a homeschool co-op and put yourself out there and try to make some friends, and preferably friends of moms who your kids are friends with, and then you can have play dates. So while your kids are playing, they're distracted, they're not with you, you're having mom time, because you need that. Like, our mental health is so important. It is so important for us to have us time, downtime, mom time, and me time. You should never feel guilty about that. Your kids don't see you as a teacher. So this is the problem you might get when you are new to homeschooling, or if you're bringing your kids home from a public school and now they're homeschooled all of a sudden, and now they don't take you seriously because you're just mom, right? So it all comes down to consistency and dealing with those behavioral issues in order to get your homeschool to run smoothly. Eventually your child will see you as a homeschooling mom, and they will eventually get used to the idea that they're homeschooled, and this shouldn't be a problem for you forever. Before I continue with this video, I do want to let you guys know that there were a lot of comments that really touched me. They were about balancing life, balancing time for yourself, balancing everybody's needs, finding ways to balance work and money. And I'm gonna make a separate video on that, on how I found balance in our life, in our homeschool. Let's talk about your procrastinator, or keeping yourself on task. So sometimes you may have a homeschool child who is the ultimate procrastinator, who is always playing or does things at the last minute, or who won't just buckle down and sit down and do the work. And trust me, mamas, I understand. So what you can do in this situation is a couple of things. One piece of advice that I learned from another mama was to have a set time for the schoolwork to get done. Now you can do this in one of two ways. You can say, these are the school time hours. If you don't get your schoolwork done between these hours, I am done teaching, and you will have evening time homework that you will have to figure out after those hours are done. That means if they had plans to go play outside or have screen time or play with their toys or whatever their downtime was, they're gonna lose that time because they're gonna be busy catching up on their schoolwork. The other option is to have a set time limit. So if your child has a math, and it usually should take them about 30 minutes to get that math done, you set that timer for 30 minutes. If the child is not done within those 30 minutes, then once again, that ends up being homework at the end of the school day. So I thought these were great ideas, and actually, as I am gonna definitely have to implement this into my own homeschool this upcoming homeschool year. Now, once again, if you're having trouble keeping on task, you just need to remember that your homeschooling hours are your homeschooling hours, and everything else should be pushed to the side until you're done teaching and your kids' assignments are all done for the day. Now, if you're having a hard time getting your kids started in the morning, there's a variety of different things that you can try. What has helped for me is, if you've seen my homeschool day in the life videos, is I start the school day with something simple, something that does not require a lot of brain work, something that is entertaining for the kids, something that they love to do, and that is our read out loud time. So before I get into that, I want to remind you, you have to be consistent with your homeschool routines, and having set things that you do every day before your homeschool day starts is going to really help with getting your kids to start on time. So by doing something light like a read out loud, it's giving your kids time to, they're still relaxed, you know, they're kind of still waking up in the morning. They probably have their early morning snack again because the kids are always hungry. And then just find a nice comfortable spot with blankets and just cuddle up, or just let them lounge out and read a good book for about 20 minutes. I found that this really gets their brains started moving because they're imagining the story, they're engaged, they're relaxed. And then when we have to jump back into the next subject, which is usually math, because I like to jump around the different parts of the brain, it is so much easier. Like, I don't have any problem now getting my kids to get started because we started the homeschool day in an enjoyable and relaxing way. Now, how do you know when it's time to quit homeschooling? What if homeschooling just isn't working out for a certain child or for you as a family? Then I want you to watch this video here before you make any decisions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.